Let's see, our next question is from Rob on too high of ketones. Rob says, "Hi, Robb and Nicki. I've been really enjoying this Q&A podcast format. I have a question I'd like to hear your thoughts on regarding blood beta hydroxybutyrate testing. I've been hearing many people in the field saying that the more fat keto adapted you are, the lower your blood BHB tends to be due to increased metabolic efficiency. Personally, I've been doing keto for many years now, sensibly, following the targeted protein requirement first, then adding in fat for the remaining fuel, as my goal is weight maintenance, not weight loss. I've never tested my blood BHB or urine ketones, just using the ketonix to test my breath ketones, which always shows that I'm in ketosis. Recently, just for curiosity's sake, I got my hands on blood BHB testing, and my fasted morning readings average between 1.5 to 2 millimolar. Plus, my recent urine test also shows elevated ketones, 60 milligrams per deciliter, which I wasn't expecting, as I thought urine ketones are only present in the beginning phase of the diet. So now I'm wondering, is this normal and desirable, or is it too high for someone who's been doing keto for years? Does this mean that I'm still not metabolically efficient after all these years? I know you always prioritize how one looks, feels, and performs, but still I can't help but wonder, especially since the concept of the higher the ketones, the better has never made much sense to me. So yes, to put it simply, I'm asking, are my ketones too high? Thank you for your great work."
Man, it's a really good question, and it's a better question than my answer is going to be. We've just noticed that a lot of folks over time, when they're on a ketogenic diet, that their ketones tend to trend down. And this has been something that doctors Finney and Volek even more recently have kind of acknowledged and provided some airplay to, because originally they had their like optimum ketone level that was like that 1 to 2 range. And then we had all these people that were really succeeding on a ketogenic diet, particularly out of the Ketogains community, and their blood ketone levels weren't anywhere remotely like that in general, not across the board. So people who eat a little more protein, like if they eat at the higher end of the Ketogains recommendations, will generally have a little bit lower ketone levels. And this isn't because protein turns into chocolate cake. It's because protein can get degraded into an oxaloacetate substrate intermediate that can facilitate the beta oxidation of fats. And so we don't need as much ketones in that context. If more of the body's tissue shift to direct fatty acid mobilization, then we may not need as high of ketone levels. So it's possible you may have a gene polymorphism that you don't use fatty acids as directly, and you may still rely more on higher ketone levels. I really don't know. That's honestly a bit of a guess, but we see a pretty good spectrum in this story, and this is where the testing becomes challenging, because we have someone like you that's motoring along well, doing great, but the levels are, like Luis rarely gets above like 0.4, occasionally 0.6, and he's been ketotic for like 20 years. So that's just kind of where he has settled out. Mine are similar. Like I have to do some pretty heroic stuff to be able to get to higher ketone levels. When we were doing it with you ended up testing pretty high. But it's interesting, Nicki's pretty metabolically flexible. She goes in and out of ketosis. She doesn't really feel different one way or the other cognitively. It doesn't seem to impact your performance. You don't really suffer the keto flu. So I don't know. Like I wish I had a better answer than that, but I really don't know. But I will say that the folks who test low and then feel like they're missing out on something and then default to eating the fat bombs and doing additional calories just to goose the ketone levels up, or they suppress protein intake to get the ketone levels up. I don't know that that's a net win over the course of time. If you have a neurological condition, if there's some specific medical condition that we're wanting to affect with the ketone levels, then that's a different case. But in general, for like good body composition, basic performance and whatnot, it sounds like you're motoring along well. And you asked a great question, and that's kind of the best answer I could sling out there on it.
Okay. I think that was our last question for this episode.
Cool.
Yeah. Guess it's time to go grab the kiddos from school?
I guess we can do that. Thank you guys for your questions.
Thank you
Keep
guys.
firing them off to us. Definitely tune in for 10 and 2. Follow me at Das Rob Wolf on Instagram. And we'll...
And everything
see you
goes on
guys soon.
YouTube as well. So
Everything
you can
goes on
always
the
catch
YouTube
it there.
channel. Yep.
All right.
Take care,
Thanks,
guys.